On this last day of November 2017, we thank you for watching CNN 10, your objective explanation of world news. I'm Carl Azus at the CNN Center. U.S. President Donald Trump spoke with Chinese President Xi Jinping yesterday, and the American leader said that more sanctions, penalties on North Korea were on the way. China factors in because it's North Korea's only major ally. What triggered this? North Korea test-fired an ICBM, an intercontinental ballistic missile, early Wednesday morning. It was the first time in 2 months that the communist country had tested a major weapon, but it's done this several times before, despite international sanctions and the fact that the United Nations says its weapons programs are illegal. Something was different this time around, though. The ICBM reached an altitude as high as 2,800 miles. That's higher than any other weapon North Korea has ever launched. And though it splashed down off the Japanese coast, North Korea said it was capable of hitting the entire U.S. mainland. Some scientists agree, but one analyst said it probably wouldn't have gone as far with a heavy nuclear warhead on it. North Korea said the missile did have a, quote, super large heavy warhead attached. Either way, the U.S. is pushing China to do everything it can to convince North Korea to end its nuclear and missile programs. American officials say these programs endanger world peace, peace in the region and the U.S., and that America has a long list of additional economic sanctions it can place on North Korea. The Asian country sees its weapons as a deterrent, a strength that would discourage other countries from attacking, and it says that no force on earth can stop North Korea's advance.
I've been to North Korea 11 times over the last few years, and every time you come here, you hear that tensions between the U.S. and North Korea are high, but I have to say that this is the most tense that I have seen it during any time that I've visited the country. Whenever I come here, I always get a sense that there are two very different worlds. There's the world inside North Korea and the world outside. Inside, everything in this society revolves around the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, and before him, his father and grandfather. This is a society that is built up around its leadership. They hold their leaders up to the highest possible esteem, and that's very much in contrast with the view from the outside world that North Korea is erratic, unpredictable, and moving on a dangerous path as they continue to nuclearize. In some ways, Pyongyang resembles many other cities. It has an increasingly modern skyline. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has made it one of his initiatives to build more skyscrapers and public amenities in the city. In other ways, though, it's radically different. You hear music playing on loudspeakers throughout the city all day, in the morning to wake people up, in the evening to put them to bed at night. There is patriotic music. People are marching. They're practicing for these huge mass celebrations that they often do for national holidays or to celebrate the achievements of their leader. And of course, North Korea is one of the only places in the world where no matter who you ask, at least publicly, you will never hear political dissent. Everybody will say that they are 100% behind their supreme leader. But given that Kim Jong-un has absolute power in this country, what else would they say?
10-second trivia. Which of these celestial objects is also called a minor planet? Pluto, asteroid, moon, or Sirius? Asteroids are also called minor planets, not to be confused with dwarf planets like Pluto.
This object is simply a piece of another solar system that was expelled, and it has been traveling through interstellar space for hundreds of millions of years, billions of years, we don't know. We don't see that in our solar system. None of the asteroids in our solar system look like that. So it's very puzzling how it could have obtained this shape.
Origami, which comes from the Japanese words fold and paper, is increasingly being used to solve complicated engineering problems. On a 10 out of 10 segment last month, we covered an MIT project on origami robots. They included a small machine and a plastic exoskeleton that folded into a predetermined shape when it's heated. Well, a former NASA physicist has folded his love for origami into his career as a mathematician.
One of the most important attributes of origami is once we have studied and understood the way paper folds and unfolds, we can apply those patterns to things that are very different from paper. I hope by bringing the tools of mathematics into my origami design that I can then fold something that's beautiful and that's unexpected. My name is Robert Lang, and I'm a physicist and an origami artist. Origami is the Japanese name for the art of folded paper, and most origami is folded from a single sheet of paper with no cuts or tears. I have loved origami my entire life. I pursued it ever since I was a kid. But my study was science and engineering. I worked for NASA doing research on lasers, but throughout that whole time I had been pursuing origami, developing designs, and writing books. So in 2001, I quit my job to try to make a career out of origami. I've worked on a couple of different folding patterns that were round and would wrap into a cylindrical geometry to fit into a rocket. And I developed an airbag in a car that inflates from a small folded bundle. So whenever an engineer creates something that opens and closes in a controlled way, they can make use of the folding patterns of origami. Over the years, math has allowed me to realize as an artist shapes and creations that I couldn't achieve any other way. Traditional origami was relatively simple. The designs would have taken maybe 20 or 30 steps at most. But today, origami pieces can be so complicated that they can have tens, hundreds, maybe even 1,000 steps. When I'm folding, it's like working with an old friend. It's like dancing with a partner whose moves I know. That if I move this way, I know my partner is going to move that way. And so I explore the math, develop the equations, solve the equations, create the folding pattern, and then I find out what it looks like. And as often as not, it is beautiful. For me, the driving force is that there's always something new to try, a new problem, a new subject, a new shape that I didn't think I was able to create before, but now I think I know how to realize it. And each time I solve a problem, you get this wonderful feeling, and you want more of those feelings.
Less than a month from Christmas, Santa Claus is getting huge, bro. This particular Santa is Albie Muschaney, aka Big Bad Santa. He squats 708 pounds and deadlifts 728 from the floor. He calls his training partner the world's swollest elf, the Swelf. Their workshops, the gym. Santa raises heavy weights and money for the children of wounded veterans. And he's not only training for Christmas, he plans to compete in the world's strongest man competition. I don't think I could top Swelf. That pun slays me. But if your ideal Santa pulls his own sleigh, bench presses a reindeer, and power lifts back up the chimney, Muschaney's mega mass puts him in a Claus all his own. I'm Carl Azus with another fantastic edition of CNN 10.